It's been a busy week in D.C., and after serving almost 2 decades as the Republican Senate leader, Senator Mitch McConnell will be stepping down from that position come November. The minority leader was first elected party leader back in 2006, so that makes him the longest-serving Republican Senate leader in history. McConnell was majority leader from 2015 to 2021. And despite plans to step away from his leadership position this fall, McConnell's staff confirms he intends to finish out his term, and that will end in 2027. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Coons of Delaware. Congressman, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Markie.
You and McConnell are obviously on different sides of the aisle. I'm sure there's been much you've disagreed and sparred over during the years, but I mean, man, what a run, what a sunset speech yesterday.
That's right. Leader McConnell has served longer than any caucus leader in Senate history. He and I are the only two former county executives in the Senate. And while I sharply disagreed with some of his choices and tactics, particularly around Supreme Court vacancies, it's been an honor to work with him in recent months on being determined, both of us, to secure funding for Ukraine and for Ukraine's ongoing fight for freedom against Russian aggression.
Yeah, I know there are differences, but it is nice to hear that there's also respect there. How do you see the senator's departure as party leader impacting dynamics and bipartisan efforts within the Senate?
Well, Senator McConnell held together his caucus for many years. Back to the time of the Tea Party in 2010, when I first came here, it was striking that both Senator McConnell and Senator Cornyn, then the #1 and #2 Republican senators from Kentucky and Texas, had as their colleagues from their home states senators they didn't support in their primaries, Senator Rand Paul, Senator Ted Cruz, who have caused a great deal of trouble for Leader McConnell. They are often the earliest to prevent moving forward on bipartisan bills, to oppose any consensus or compromise, and to demand their own unique approach to legislating here. It has become harder and harder for Senator McConnell to achieve his objectives, and his frustration was visible in recent years with the sharp divisions in his own caucus. One of the most telling moments there was when President Trump killed the border security provisions of the bipartisan National Security Supplemental. I'll remind you that the very conservative head of the Border Patrol Union, Brandon Judd, endorsed that bill. So I beg to differ with Senator Cruz, who just a moment ago said that it was a weak Democratic bill. In fact, conservative Republican from Oklahoma, James Lankford, was the lead negotiator chosen by Senator McConnell, who secured some significant wins.
Yeah.
$20 billion to fight fentanyl, to hire thousands more Border Patrol agents, to invest in securing the border, and to increase deportations. It was solely because former President Trump wants an issue for the fall election that that bill was not advanced in the Senate.
Speaking of the border, you know, we know that both the current president, the former president will be visiting today. Biden will be in Brownsville. President Trump will be in Eagle Pass, Texas. Does any major change actually come from that? Does that move the needle at all for anybody in terms of, border funding and where you head from here? Or is this just more political theater today?
Look, I've gone to the border with a bipartisan delegation, Senator Cornyn, Senator Lankford, Senator Murphy, Senator Sinema. We didn't do a lot of big press conferences. We met with community leaders, with those who run shelters, with Border Patrol, with ICE. We got detailed input about exactly what the challenges are at our border in Yuma, Arizona, and in El Paso, Texas. We then, as a bipartisan group, went to Mexico to meet with President López Obrador in Mexico City. It is possible, in short, to get meaningful input on how to advance legislation through visits to the border. But I'm very concerned, as I just said, that former President Trump wants an issue, not a solution. And as a result, even though President Biden has been calling on Congress to legislatively address border security and our badly broken immigration system since his first State of the Union several years ago, I don't think we're going to make progress before the next election.
Yeah, we'll be following it closely. I know American voters are certainly ready for change in the Border Department in some form or fashion. Senator Coons, thank you so much for joining me.